Hello, traveler. So, this is where you live. Is this a good time for a visit? I only ask because 9 times out of 10, my place is unfit for guests.
Hey, kid! If you're here to challenge me, book an appointment first!
Traveler! Oh, it's nice. But I don't think I could actually live here. This space is too big. If I'm reading on the bed and want a drink, I'd have to actually get up and walk.
I know. Wait, did you just agree with me because you think I'm old? Laziness is a habit I learned from young people, you know. Wait, scratch that. I am young. Huh. Genius.
I mean, you know this place best, so it only makes sense that you would come up with a solution. In that case, I'm in favor of more space. Spacious rooms are more conducive to relaxation anyway. Sure. Is there something you want to talk about? You mean the Chichimime? Yeah, it's strange. This realm is quite special. It's almost completely isolated from the outside world. So the malice of the stars has been greatly reduced. That's probably why they look a bit out of sorts. Oh, that's kind of you. They're born of the world's malice towards humans, but don't worry. Their capacity for evil was stripped away before anything bad could happen. Now, they're nothing more than mascots. By the looks of it, there are illuminated creations here powerful enough to obscure the celestial mechanisms. This must be a mystical realm. If you read light novels, it's obvious. The ancient vassals and mirage warriors were able to preserve many ancient technologies and mystical arts from the preceding age of the 3 saints, including the ability to create realms. Wait, maybe it was a true story all along. Well, in any case, all the best novels take inspiration from real life. Actually, what are the chances Mirage Warriors was written by one of your Adepti friends? And the feline-headed Higashi no Sankun and Nishi no Obo are just self-inserts? Wait, does that mean you actually know some kind of cat Adeptus? Now that I think about it, I don't think the author was an Adeptus. I've been following that novel since the beginning, and the writing has changed hands twice already. That wouldn't happen with an Adeptus. They can outlast pretty much anyone. You're not wrong. They are born of the world's malice towards humans, after all. But don't worry, they're harmless now. Under my control, they can't do anything bad. Huh. Doing nothing at all sounds pretty nice. Most people live no longer than 100 years, so there's no point losing sleep over issues that will take thousands of years to solve. But live long enough and you learn that only a handful of things in life truly matter. You can dedicate 1/10 of your time to the important things, but when it comes to the remaining 9/10, it's just a matter of finding ways to pass the time. But that's just a general rule, okay? Not a comment on my age. I guess you're right. Maybe my life is just less interesting. It's just like the detectives from those Fontaine crime novels. Always embroiled in intrigue wherever they go. I suppose there are people like that in real life, too. Actually, crime novels only chronicle a small part of a detective's life. Realistically, the cases only last a few days. So, who knows? Maybe they're just killing time in between important events like the rest of us. Well, when you put it that way, choosing to do nothing is how I recover from the trauma in my life. Okay, I'm begging you. Don't give me that look. I can hear what you're thinking. Citlali's nihilism strikes again. But I'm fine. At my age, I don't need people fretting over me. Not that I'm that old, of course. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Come on, let's go for a walk. We should grab something to eat, too. It's been a while. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get a move on. Morning. If I hadn't stayed up all night, I never would have known you get up this early. Good night. I'm going to keep walking around. Not used to a night sky without stars.
你好啊，旅行者，这里就是你住的地方吗？现在方便参观吗？以我个人情况来说，房间没收拾好不能见人的时间在9成以上。挺好的，挺好的。就是让我过来住，我可能还习惯不了。房间太大了，躺床上看小说累了，还得走好多步拿喝的。是啊，你心中该没想着是因为我年纪大吧？这种习惯我可是从年轻人那里学的。不对，我就是年轻人。
This place is great. So quiet and serene, like nothing could ever threaten the peace. I admire what you've accomplished here, traveler. I hope Natlan enjoys a similar tranquility one day. It's great! It feels like a vacation spot, almost like the people of the springs. Before I became Pyro Archon, I went to the hot springs all the time. It's the perfect place to unwind and meet people from all walks of life, Outlanders included. But that kind of free time is few and far between these days. I actually prefer to keep busy. Let me put it this way. I'm sure you've invited many friends here in the past, and like me, they've probably walked away with a very positive impression of this place. From the environment to the decorations, you planned out everything down to the smallest detail. Behind everything we see here lies a tremendous amount of work. And you do that work because this is your home, right? Collecting ingredients, crafting furnishings, and planning the layout and design? I'm sure all of that kept you very busy. Exactly. That's how I feel about Natlan. Some bear their responsibilities like a burden, out of a sense of identity or obligation. But I have a vision, and that is what drives me forward. The role of Pyro Archon simply makes it easier for me to fulfill that vision. That comes as no surprise to me. You're someone with a clear set of morals. Through all the trials and tribulations, your resolve never wavered. That conviction is one of the key qualities of a leader. It's all right. That's just my own take on things. Based on what I've seen, you have your own understanding of the world and your place in it. So just believe in yourself. You're on the right path. Oh, sure. I took some time to walk around this place and came up with a few suggestions. Maybe you'll get some inspiration. From the look on your face, you were hoping for a more casual conversation. That's very valid. My apologies. I can never seem to stop working. Let me guess. They also have high standards for themselves and their surroundings. Of course, not everyone's like that, and I respect other people's choices. So I try to operate without imposing my habits on anyone else. We're all human, which means we're often at the mercy of our emotions. When we get tired or annoyed, we lose focus, and it's hard to be efficient. No matter how urgent or important in that situation, it's better to put the work aside and get some rest. You're not wrong. I used to think some people were just built that way, so conscientious by nature that they just can't tear themselves away from their work. But eventually, I realized it's not a character trait at all, but a reaction that stems from prolonged periods of anxiety and stress. There are many possible factors: lack of recognition, family issues, disrupted sleep, lack of exercise. I try to ensure that we have enough manpower at our disposal so everyone can afford to take breaks. The shamans from the Masters of the Nightwind can also help relieve stress. Thankfully, I'm quite the workaholic, so even if a lot of people go on break at once, it's all the same to me. Well, that depends on the context. I don't view it as some kind of inherent evil. It's a choice. All I need to know is whether someone is driven by the same vision. Of course, actions speak louder than words in that regard. I can talk with them, offer suggestions, and guide their next steps. There will always be things I don't understand, but as the Pyro Archon, I can still help people find the right path forward. But first and foremost, they have to be willing. And that is not a decision I can make for them. I wouldn't go that far. I just don't want everyone to turn into a workaholic like me. After all, that lifestyle's not for everyone. Plus, it leads to a more relaxed atmosphere, which is better for everyone, don't you think? Well, we're talking about principles. In a vacuum, I'm sure it sounds vague and impractical. But in practice, there are a variety of factors I consider. Still, I won't refute your assessment. I consider myself an idealist after all. In my experience, surrounding yourself with people who share a common ideal can be a very powerful thing. Well, since you asked, I have an idea for a Flamestrider Grand Prix. I've been thinking about it ever since I arrived. It would be a shame not to take advantage of all this space and the amazing scenery. So, this is what I was thinking. We create a racetrack that combines speed and technique and invite challengers to compete. The winner can be crowned the Master of the Striding Flame. If the tournament is a success, it would bring in a significant profit, in which case you wouldn't need to worry about future prizes, and you could even expand the scale. Oh, don't worry. I already asked Xilonen about that, although she categorically refused. I understand her reasoning, of course. I would need at least 8 Flamestriders, which would cost a small fortune, and I have no idea where we would find enough secret source components. Still, having a vision is better than nothing. Besides, I have a backup plan that only involves one rider. Instead of having everyone ride a Flamestrider at once, everyone will take turns with mine, and the person with the fastest time wins. Of course, Xilonen rejected this proposal as well. The reason being the Flamestrider was originally designed for battle and travel rather than speed. Several modifications would need to be made to operate at high speeds, which means faster wear and tear and more maintenance. In short, we cannot sacrifice the core function of the Flamestrider for our own entertainment. True. But that also means we could just design a new Flamestrider built entirely for speed. I'll make a quick sketch and show it to Xilonen right away. Morning. Another busy day lies ahead, and I'm ready to tackle it head-on. Good night. I was just doing some puzzles. It's a collection from the Akademiya in Sumeru. I'll call it a night after these last 2 problems.
正好你问起来，我想和你分享一下我的新计划——10轮车大奖赛。自从来到这里，我就在想这件事。这里有如此广阔的空间与壮丽的风景，不利用起来实在有点可惜。我们可以打造一条兼具速度感和技巧性的赛道，邀请有兴趣的挑战者前来比拼，决出那个10轮车之王。如果赛事成功的话，还能开拓出很高的商业价值。到时候奖品不用愁， 进一步发展赛道规模的资金也有了。不用担心，关于这个，我已经和希诺宁商量，并且被非常强硬的拒绝了。他的理由非常充分，在我的计划里，至少需要8台齿轮车，但这样做成本会非常非常高，而且也找不到那么多关键的密源机关材料。但有目标总比没有好。在实现许多车手一起同场竞速之前，我还有替代方案，那就是所有人都驾驶我的齿轮车，在相同的赛道上行驶数圈，最后用时最短的人获胜。不过这个方案，希诺宁也是持反对态度，因为齿轮车在设计之初考虑的都是越野与战斗，速度并不是它的长项。想要举办这个比赛，除了需要大量改造，齿轮车的部件老化速度也会加快很多，养护也会是件麻烦事。唉，不能因为娱乐性的考虑而让齿轮车失去原本最重要的功能。没错。这么说的话，如果能设计一个专门用来竞速的齿轮车不就行了吗？哈，我现在就设计一下，然后找他商量去。